Hi everyone, today with me here I have the Haunted Hill Farm 2024 Tombstone Lifter.
Take one step into this graveyard and become one of the living dead. We are waiting for you to join us.
This is a remake of an animatronic that came out way back in 2009, and I was gonna make an unboxing video of this one, but then I figured, this thing's new and there were so many unboxing videos already on this thing. I was kind of late to the game, to be honest. So instead of doing an unboxing video on the new model, I figured why not just do one on that original model that inspired the new one. Here with me I have an original model 2009 Tombstone Lifter, fully working, and we are going to unbox this one and then do a comparison between the old and the new. Okay, so here is that 2009 Tombstone Lifter. We're going to get into how we can tell a 2009 between a 2010. It's pretty easy. You actually can't tell it on the box, I don't think, because actually this model almost looks like a 2010 model. Again, I'll get into that later. 30-inch graveyard ghoul lifts his tombstone and warns all that are near to turn back. It makes a big point to say that the tombstone is actually included on this thing. You can see a speech bubble on this side of the box. Turn back now. I don't even think he says that though. And then this is the back side. You have like a whiteout background here. Basically just saying all the stuff that he does. He does have a timer. I think it works on him, I'm pretty sure. And then check out that old Techie Toys logo. They don't even call themselves that anymore. And then here's the other side of the box. Basically the same thing. So let's open this thing up. I found this on Facebook Marketplace last year for $50. And he had some things wrong with him. The main thing was that one of his plastic pieces was broken. And I ended up just 3D printing a new piece myself. And it works pretty well, and I'll show you that just in a moment here. But I just cut off all the tape here that hold the box together, and we just pull that flap open, and here we go. 2009's Tombstone Lifter from Spirit Halloween. There isn't much to really unbox. It all just gets kind of thrown in there anyways. You have the tombstone right here, and I'm going to try to not say any comparisons. I just caught myself right there. Talking about the tombstone differences, but here's the tombstone in its bag. This one is worn because it's from 2009. Here are his arms. This one is the original one that hasn't broken yet, at least. And then this one is the 3D printed one. This part's original. It's this end piece that is 3D printed. You can probably kind of tell by the finish. But it works actually fairly well. It gets the job done. It's not perfect, but I'm kind of proud of myself. I measured the original dimensions and whatnot and was successfully able to print a new piece for it. You also have the pole, which is basically his support pole. It's just plastic, and it's a twist lock. Here you have the pizza slice base, is what I like to call it. This one only takes 3 AA's, which is important because you cannot hook up a 6-volt 2-amp adapter. He actually only takes a 4.5 volt. You have his support feet right here with their labeling still. And then in this plastic bag I have some added parts. You cannot find a 4.5 volt 1.5 amp adapter anywhere for like a decent price. This one is actually 2 amps, which is fine. It's a little more power than what it's needed. But it works, and I'm happy to have found it because I did not want to use batteries on him. I don't like batteries. And then you have these spikes. I'm not sure if he originally came with all of these. I got the metal one and then 2 of the plastic smaller ones. And these were just from one of my other tombstones that I've modified in the past. so I didn't need these anymore. So I use them on him, and he seems to work fine with it. And then lastly, you have the man himself, the Tombstone lifter. Here he is. He's got his clothing. Very nice detailed sculpt. Hard plastic, so no worry of dry rot. And he's got his mechanism up in here. So let's go into the setup now. Unfortunately, I don't have the instructions for him, but we'll be able to get by. We'll be able to figure this out. On the bottom of the base here, you have E to E connections. These are his like outriggers and basically keep him from falling over when he lifts the Tombstone up all the way. I'm going to leave him on foot pad for now at least. Probably just plug in the adapter. Why not? One thing that I was talking about earlier, the easiest way to determine if you have a 2009 model or a 2010 is the Tombstone itself, if it has lights or not. If it has lights on the Tombstone, you have a 2010 model. If it doesn't have lights, then you have the 09 model. It's quite interesting because in the box itself, it actually shows the animatronic being lit up by a blue light, but in actuality, it doesn't have those lights. So I don't know if they like forgot about it and then added it back in at a later time in 2010 or what. Next up, we're going to take his arms, and this is kind of fragile, so just be careful with this part. But in his sleeves, if you can like roll this out a little bit. There we go. You can see the mechanism here, and you just take your pole and it snap locks in like so. Here you have the other pole. Just hear the click. I think we're good. Okay, now I am going to take his Tombstone out of the box, or out of the bag rather, my bad. And on the Tombstone, he has these like plastic clips that will snap onto the arm themselves. And we're going to probably, I think it's better off to put the Tombstone together, but here's what I was talking about. The Tombstone has no lights. It has the channel for it to run through, but no lights. When I first got it, I thought I was missing the lights, and I was gonna like replace them with just making my own. But then I was looking for like the plug, because there would need to be a plug here to run into him, and there wasn't. So I was really confused at that point. But what I found out by just watching some videos is that this guy never had lights. He didn't come with them. So that's how you can tell the difference between an 09 and a 2010. But we're just gonna do what we always do here. Take these little stakes and run them onto the foam Tombstone, and then just try to get everything to line up half decently. There we go. That looks good. And then you just snap lock it into place. The last thing you really gotta do is just take the Velcro, or hook and loop fastener rather, and just Velcro the sleeves to the hands. I also forgot to mention that you got to take the plug. There's a plug that runs from his body, and you got to plug it into the control board. It's matching F to F. Just do that right now. There we go. Okay, he should be ready to go. You can also take these little pockets that run on his clothing and push those onto his back feet, which is pretty cool, I think. Okay, we are all set up here. I got both of them here ready to go. Right off the bat, you can see the first main difference is that they have different tombstones. You can see this one, the hands seem to be more apparent, actually. It's a more orangish color. I like this one more because of the skull and the cross are more highlighted than this one. In the dark, this will be more easily seen compared to this, where it's all blended in together. The next difference that we're going to be looking at are their activations. I'm going to stand here behind the camera and just let the sound echo through the room. So we're going to first look at the original 2009 model lifter. Here we go. Okay, so there's that one. Not too bad, not too bad. Let's look at the new model. Here we go.
Take one step into this graveyard and become one of the living dead. We are waiting for you to join us.
So in case you didn't hear it, the new one has an updated speaker and the sound quality just sounds so much better. I could literally hear the echo through the room with the new one's speaker, whereas the old one is just very quiet. In a haunt setting, you would not be able to hear what he is saying. This one has a much better chance of you hearing what he's saying in an outside setting, is what I guess I'm trying to say. So I don't say this that often, but with that just alone, and we're going to be looking at some other stuff here, but the new model is so much better than the original, and that just goes against my whole beliefs. I know, like, I'm always like, old is better, but not in this situation. The new one is better. The old one I would just like to have, which I do have, but I would like to have it just to say that it's the old one, just to have like a collector's perspective. But if you want to use him in like a haunted house or like your yard display, the new one is the way to go. And I believe they're still selling it right now. So we've looked at those two comparisons. Let's check out some other ones. I think the next one we can look at are the face details. Actually, I kind of got to say that the original one actually I think has better detail on the face. I like the colors more. This one seems more saturated, whereas this one seemed a little dulled out. Like you could just see the color on the skin is like just dull. It looks a little dull to me compared to this one. This one has like more darkness under the eyes compared to this one. I just think the detail-wise, the old one I think wins, but quality-wise, the new one takes the cake on that. The clothing, you can see, it looks very similar. The only thing that is different is that the fabric on the old one is like all wounded up like this. But I have to say, I think that's just from its age over time. I feel like as this one gets older, this stuff will start to like twirl up and stuff as well. So I don't really think that's a difference there. The hair, again, this one is a little more like freaky looking. That's because of its age. Again, it looks all worn out like that. This one is just nice and smooth still, but with age, it'll probably get a little more crazy looking. Here's something I find rather interesting, and it's almost something that goes towards the old one in a good way. When we watch them reset, you're going to see that the Tombstone appears to be more controlled on the old one than the new one. So I'm going to turn the power back on, and we're going to watch this happen. See how there was that little lunge of the Tombstone on the new one? While on the old one here, it appeared to be just nicely coming down. And I don't know what that necessarily means, if there's like looseness. And I don't remember if there's a pulley system on this one, but maybe after all these years, that belt is still like really tight around the pulley and it's not slipping. That might be what that means. Or maybe that one doesn't even have a pulley system. Maybe that one's so old that it's still just totally gear driven. Maybe that's the answer. I don't know. I've never opened up a Tombstone lifter. So I took the Tombstones off of their armatures because I wanted to show you something with the bases and stuff. But before we do that, I thought it'd be a good idea to just look at the Tombstones from the backside here. This is the new model Tombstone. you can see that it has the LEDs already wired in, and it runs up that channel that exists on the old one. And then you have the updated plug that Techie Design has been using in recent years, which I just love so much better. It's such a bigger plug, it's easier to get your hands on, actually pull it apart. You don't have to be as careful. You should still be careful, but you don't have to be as careful compared to the old plugs that all the companies would be using. And then just once again, let's look at the old one here. You could see the channel, but nothing, no lights. So I truly wonder if they just forgot to put the lights in. You can even see on the box that he has like blue shining onto him in the picture. So it's almost like this like stock photo had the lights already wired in. So that's just something that makes me interested in what's going on with that. So the final comparison I want to show you in this video is the base differences. That's a big thing. So this is the new model, and then here is the original model right here. I'm actually going to unplug the Try-Me things because I don't want to wreck those. But here they are. And something I just noticed I didn't notice before is the new model still has the Techie Toys logo on it right there. And then here's the old one, in case you don't believe me. There it is, Techie Toys. Both say Techie Toys. Techie Design is what it's called nowadays, so they didn't bother to change it. I think that's pretty funny. There's few minor differences to the base. Like here you could see some holes are in different locations and stuff. Not sure what that really is for. You can also see that this piece has this jut out while the original doesn't have that at all. Another thing is that this white piece, the pole, this is the 2024 model is not a snap lock, or is a snap lock rather, whereas the original was twist on. And just the layout overall is pretty different. The switches are in different locations. The battery box actually seems to be the same, but the switches are different. The connections for the animatronic, like this one, has the wires actually coming out of the base to plug in here, while this one is just flush with the base. It has the old foot pad. So in case you were wondering how I was able to get this to wire up to one of the relays, is I have made converters where it has the old plug end to the old Try-Me functions and then just plugs into a modern mono cable. It works okay. It gets the job done. You just got to be careful with them. This one also has a Try-Me function, whereas if you just connect those two, it just plays the sound of him. No motion or anything, just the sound. Never understood quite why they would do that. But you can already tell that the speakers are similar in size, but you just know that the new one has such a beefier speaker in there probably. Like this feels slightly heavier than this one as well. You know, just looking at these, I actually think the reason why this one, the base is slightly different, is because if you look closely here, you can see right under the Techie Toys logo, there's a little opening, and then there's a diagram of a button getting pressed down and a button pressed up. That reminds me of the old relay switches for fog machined equipped animatronics. And you know who was equipped with a fog machine that is very similar to these? The fogging Tombstone lifter. So I'm assuming that probably explains why the Techie Toys logo is still on here, because this is probably the base to that of the fogging Tombstone lifter that came out in 2012. So in reality, this base is still on its own in terms of just how it is. And that's probably why there's so many things that have gotten moved around and stuff, is because it's a different piece. Because this one doesn't have that little opening for a relay switch button. But those are all of the things I've noticed that are different on these guys. So now let's go to a demo of them together.
Take one step into this graveyard and become one of the living dead. We are waiting for you to join us.
Well, those are the Tombstone lifters, the new model from 2024 and the original from way back in 2009. Let me know which one you guys think is the best. For me personally, I'm going to have to go with the 2024 one. I'm probably going to use that one in my haunted house. Keep this one just for preservation purposes or whatnot, and just keep it in the condition it's in. That's probably what I'm going to do, because like I said, the speaker quality is the thing that really sells it on. For me, you can't hear this thing at all. This one can actually like go up against just sounds around in a haunted house. But that is all from me today. I want to say thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you all in the next video.